The moment felt unreal. The cameras were rolling. Reporters leaned forward in their seats, and millions of Americans sat at home, their eyes glued to their screens. Something was about to happen. Barack Obama sat in a polished chair, his posture composed, yet unmistakably tense. The weight of history hung over him. The former president had been in the public eye for decades, but today, something was different. Across the country, speculation had been running wild. What would he say? How would he respond to Trump's latest move, the one that had shaken Washington to its core? The setting was elegant yet understated. A press event carefully planned, cameras capturing every detail. The air inside the room was thick with anticipation, as if everyone present understood that this was not just another speech. This was a moment of reckoning. The reporter sitting across from Obama cleared his throat. He was holding a stack of notes, but it was clear. He already knew what question mattered most. "Mr. President," the journalist began, his voice measured, "I have to ask, what is your reaction to former President Donald Trump's latest decision?" A hush fell over the room. Obama took a breath, a long one. His fingers gently tapped against the armrest of his chair, a subtle movement, but one that spoke volumes. The seconds stretched, the tension thickened. Then, finally, he looked up, and when he spoke, his words sent shockwaves across the nation. The room was silent. The air felt thick, charged, electric. Every camera was locked onto Barack Obama's face. Every journalist in the room held their breath, waiting, knowing that whatever he said next would dominate headlines across the country. Obama exhaled slowly, his fingers still tapping lightly against the armrest of his chair. It was not hesitation, it was calculation. Then he spoke. "I have seen a lot in my time," he said, his voice even, controlled, but carrying an unmistakable edge. "But I have to say, this is a first." The reporters leaned in. His words were measured, but his tone, it carried weight. It was the tone of a man who had seen political storms before, but this one was different. "You are asking me for my reaction," Obama continued, locking eyes with the journalist. "But I think the real question is, how will America react?" A murmur rippled through the room, because that was not the response they expected. This was not a simple condemnation. This was not a calm dismissal. This was a warning. The journalist hesitated for only a second before pressing further. "So, Mr. President, are you saying that Trump's move is a direct threat?" Obama's expression did not change. If anything, his gaze hardened. "I am saying," he said slowly, carefully, "that history has a way of repeating itself when people are not paying attention." The room froze. For a brief moment there was no sound, no clicking cameras, no scribbling pens, just silence. Then, just as quickly as it came, Obama shifted slightly in his seat. He picked up a glass of water, took a sip, and set it down, as if he had not just sent a shockwave through the country. But the reporters, the journalists, the viewers watching at home, they knew. This was not just a political reaction, this was a signal. The clip spread like wildfire. Within minutes, every major news outlet had picked up Obama's response. Social media erupted. Hashtags surged to the top of trending lists. Obama warning, # Trump move. History repeats. They flooded timelines, dominating conversations. Cable news stations replayed his words on a loop. History has a way of repeating itself when people are not paying attention. Some called it a warning. Others called it a challenge. But one thing was clear. Obama's words had unsettled people. At a political roundtable on live television, the reactions were immediate and divided. A conservative analyst leaned forward, shaking his head. "Look, Obama is doing what he always does, acting like a moral authority when, in reality, this is nothing more than political theater. Trump made a bold move, and Obama is just trying to stir up fear." Across the table, a progressive commentator was not having it. "Are you serious?" He did not even attack Trump directly. He did not call for protests. He did not dismiss anything outright. He just told people to pay attention. And if that scares you, maybe you should be asking why. The host held up a hand. But let's be honest, there is something different about his tone. It was not just a criticism. It felt heavier. The conservative analyst scoffed. He is just being dramatic. But viewers at home, they were not so sure. Phone lines at radio stations lit up. News anchors read live responses from emails, tweets, and messages flooding in. This is exactly what I have been saying for years. Trump is playing with fire. I do not even like Obama, but I will admit, he sounded serious. Unusually serious. People need to stop overreacting. This is politics as usual. Nothing more. But deep down, even the skeptics felt it. Because there was something about Obama's delivery, his timing, his choice of words. It felt less like a political statement, and more like a foreshadowing. It did not take long. Within hours of Obama's statement flooding the airwaves, Donald Trump fired back. And in true Trump fashion, it was explosive. The former president took to Truth Social, his social media platform, and within minutes his response was trending across every major network. Obama is trying to act like some wise old leader, but let's be real. He was one of the weakest presidents in American history. Sad. He let China walk all over us, let the economy tank, and now he wants to lecture me. Give me a break. History is repeating itself. Maybe he is just mad that history will remember me and not him. MAGA. The Post set off a political firestorm. Newsrooms scrambled to react. Reporters frantically typed as analysts dissected every word. Fox News ran the headline, "Trump hits back, slams Obama's weak leadership." CNN's banner read, "Trump unleashes on Obama, calls him forgotten." MSNBC's panelists debated, is Trump feeling threatened by Obama's words? But what really got people talking was Trump's follow-up post. Obama is panicking because he knows what is coming. They all know. And guess what? There's nothing they can do about it. Get ready, folks. That post sent shockwaves across the country. What did he mean by "they all know"? What exactly was coming? Within minutes, speculation exploded. Was this just classic Trump bravado? Or was this something more? Political commentators on both sides tried to decode it. A conservative host on primetime television shook his head. This is why people love Trump. He does not play by Washington's rules. Obama is out here trying to sound like a history professor, and Trump? He goes right for the throat. That is why his supporters stick with him. He fights back. Meanwhile, a progressive journalist was alarmed. This is not just political rhetoric anymore. Trump is outright saying something big is coming, something that Obama and others know about. That sounds like a warning, and frankly, it is dangerous. Social media exploded. What does Trump mean by "they all know"? This is getting weird. This is exactly how he talks before something major happens. Watch closely. Obama sounded serious. Trump sounds ready. I do not like this. For the first time, it felt like the country was bracing for impact. Trump had spoken. The battle lines were drawn. And now, everyone was waiting to see what would happen next. The speculation was out of control. Cable news panels were in full meltdown mode. Political analysts scrambled to interpret Trump's cryptic statement, "they all know," while social media churned out theories at lightning speed. But amid all the noise, one thing was missing. The White House had not said a word. For nearly 24 hours, President Joe Biden's administration remained silent. No statements, no press briefings, no tweets, nothing. And in Washington, silence is louder than words. The press pool was growing restless. Every question thrown at White House officials was met with the same response. "We have no comment at this time. The president is focused on governing, not political distractions. We will address these matters when appropriate." But that only made things worse. If this was just another Trump rant, why was the White House hesitating? Why were officials avoiding the cameras? The pressure finally cracked when Press Secretary Lisa Reynolds stepped behind the podium for the daily briefing. The room was packed. Reporters clutched their recorders. Camera lights flashed. This was the moment. Reynolds adjusted her microphone. She looked calm, but the way her hands tightened around the podium. She knew the weight of what she was about to say. A journalist from the front row did not waste any time. "Madam Press Secretary, former President Obama made remarks suggesting that history could be repeating itself." Then, former President Trump posted what many considered to be a cryptic message, implying that something is coming. "Can you tell the American people whether the White House sees this as a threat?" Reynolds' expression did not change, but there was a pause. A small fleeting pause, just long enough for everyone in the room to notice. "We take all rhetoric seriously," she finally said. "However, we do not respond to speculation. The president remains focused on the future of this country and will not be distracted by politically motivated statements from individuals who no longer hold office." The room erupted. "Are you saying Trump's statement was politically motivated? Does the president see Obama's warning as justified? Is the administration concerned about what Trump might be referring to?" Reynolds held her ground. "I have answered your question. Next." But the journalists did not move on, because that brief hesitation, that tiny, barely noticeable pause, had confirmed what many already suspected. The White House knew more than it was letting on. The silence that followed the White House briefing was not reassuring. In fact, it made things worse. The press had expected a firm dismissal, something forceful, something that made it clear that there was nothing to worry about. Instead, they got carefully chosen words and a hesitation that sent Washington into a frenzy. Within minutes, every major news outlet ran breaking headlines. CNN: White House dodges questions on Trump's cryptic warning. Fox News: Biden admin refuses to denounce Obama's "history repeats" comment. MSNBC: What does Trump know that the White House will not say? Political commentators on both sides dissected the moment. A conservative talk show host leaned forward in his seat, speaking directly into the camera. "You saw it. We all saw it. That press secretary could have shut this down in 5 seconds, but she did not. Why? Because they know something is happening, and they do not want you to know about it." Over on a progressive panel, a different argument was brewing. "This is a dangerous moment," a former national security official warned. "Trump thrives on chaos, and he just created a narrative that the White House is hiding something. Whether it is true or not, millions of people are going to believe it. And that is terrifying." Meanwhile, on social media, the reaction was even more chaotic. "Something big is coming. Biden is hiding it. Trump knows it. Obama warned us. This is the calm before the storm. Mark my words. They are all playing us. Something is off. Why does this feel like the start of something serious?" And then, as if the situation was not already tense enough, Trump posted again. At 2:47 a.m., when most of the country was asleep, a new message appeared on Truth Social. No long rants, no capital letters, no exclamation points, just 5 simple words. "Buckle up, it is happening." The internet broke. People panicked. Some laughed it off, but others, they took it very seriously. Because after everything that had happened, Obama's warning, Trump's cryptic post, the White House's hesitation, this message felt like the final piece of a puzzle that nobody wanted to solve. The question now was not if something was about to happen, it was when. What do you think is happening? Is this just another political showdown, or is there something deeper at play? Was Obama's warning justified? Does Trump know something the public does not? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. This is bigger than just two former presidents. The reaction from the White House, the media frenzy, and Trump's latest cryptic post. Does this signal a turning point? Let's discuss. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, hit that like button. It really helps. And if you want to stay ahead of these unfolding stories, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one. The world is watching. The stakes are high. Let's explore the truth together. Until next time.